Guys, successful teams and players dedicate time to strength and conditioning in the off season. The real game changer is when these athletes dedicate time to in-season training. All right, it's a trend that's more prevalent in professional athletics, top-tier collegiate programs. But we're trying to flip the script on that, get everybody maintaining throughout the season. All right, so let's look at this real quick. After your season, you might take a couple weeks off as an off season, and then you show up to your strength and conditioning program right here, right? And then what do? We're gonna aggressively get stronger, we're gonna gain lean muscle mass, and we're gonna get more explosive, all right? We're gonna continue doing this until right before the season. Going into the season, we want you at peak physical condition, all right? So this is great. We got you all these gains. You worked your butt off to get them, and then what? You have two options, all right? The first option would be to continue with an in-season training program, try to maintain or slightly increase, depending on a few variables, or you could scrap strength and conditioning altogether, go into a detraining period where you're actually going to lose all that physical adaptation that you worked your butt off to get, all right? So a couple things. Why is it important to keep these kids in this in-season training program and maintain their levels? Because you can look at this through a few years of work and see how this would add up. So we have a freshman that comes in, we get all these gains, we peak, we would stay in their in-season training program, try to maintain, hold on to it, and then you go into your sophomore season, starting out higher, get more gains, maintain, more gains, and maintain. If you're losing strength, if you're trying to minimize losses, losing lean muscle mass, each year, you're gonna end at a lower physical attribute level. What's up, guys? Let's talk about in-season training. So when we're talking about in-season training, we're gonna look at variables of frequency, volume, intensity. Frequency, you can get away with 1 to 2 days a week. You might even be able to get away with 1 day every 10 days to maintain. If you're looking at volume, we're going to significantly decrease the volume of kids doing in the in-season compared to what they're doing in the off-season, all right? Intensity, I still try to keep the intensity at a pretty high level, all right? We're going to probably work with these kids up to 85 to 95%, sometimes their max. We're just going to do less sets of it, less reps at those weights, all right? Other things we're going to change in the in the in-season, we're going to decrease the amount of accessory work they're going to do. We'll scrap some of that. We're going to decrease the exercise that really elicit delayed onset of muscle soreness and making these kids really sore, because I don't want them to show up to practice where they're trying to work on sport-specific skills and they're just ruined. The central nervous system's gassed, so they're so sore they can't really perform. So you could be looking at changing your normal squat to a box squat. You could be looking like eliminating an exercise like an RDL that has this huge focus on the eccentric lowering that's going to have more damage created by the exercise. You could also look at something like applying sled work. Basically, a lot of the sled work is all concentric movement, so there's no actually eccentric movement that's going to beat up the muscle, all right? Aren't I worried these kids are going to get injured in this in-season training program? No, honestly, I'm not. They're going to have a lower risk of injury continuing an in-season training program than completely scrapping it and detraining it. So let's keep these kids maintaining everything they worked their butts off for a couple months. Keep these kids in in-season training programs, all right?